we're having an economic collapse. I'm also a small businessman. I understand it, and I talk with business people all the time, Tucker. And my heart is lifted tonight by what I heard the president say, because we can do more than one thing at a time. We can do two things. So, my message is that let's get back to work. Let's get back to living. Let's be smart about it. And those of us who are 70 plus, we'll take care of ourselves, but don't sacrifice the country. Don't do that. Don't ruin this great American dream.
You're basically saying that this disease could take your life, but that's not the scariest thing to you. There's something that would be worse than dying.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to Ohio Survival News. I'm Casey O'Brien. Today is Wednesday, March 25th, 2020. The time is shortly after 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And I do want to start off by apologizing that I haven't been doing the videos since Friday. I did spend all weekend helping my parents get some loose ends tied together. And then I had a few things come up in the beginning of the week here. And also, it turns out where I'm working, even though we make something that is not essential, we are considered an essential employer here in Ohio, even though we do have a lockdown. I am going to get to the numbers of Ohio, and I'm also going to be going over some other numbers too. But first, I want to start off with an editorial source, and this isn't anything that I have typed up. I don't have notes for, but it is something that I need to speak on, and that's this issue with the economy. I am seeing people who I call my brothers, and I'm seeing friends of mine. I'm seeing people in the news. I'm seeing coworkers. They're trying to make this an either-or issue. Either you have this social distancing, you have these quarantines, these lockdowns. Well, as a result, really, it's not either-or, but as a result, you cannot have a functioning economy. And there are people now that are saber-rattling. Now, I'm going to use the term saber-rattling because as Trump has said, as others have said, Governor Cuomo, President Trump, world leaders, we are at a war right now. And what they're doing is they are saber-rattling for the economy. The other day, you had the Lieutenant Governor of Texas say that it was a willing sacrifice to have our grandparents, or perhaps, in my situation, my parents, they're willing to die to make sure that these stockbrokers and these assholes over on Wall Street, these Patrick Batemans, these people that have fucked with the economy for decades, they're the ones who took our fucking jobs out of the Midwest. They gutted this entire country. Sent those jobs to China. These are the same assholes. And it's their kids. And it's the people they mentored. These are the people who are in charge now. And they're the ones that are saying the economy is too important. We need to let people die so that stock prices can remain high. This is bullshit. I'm sick of it. And I want to be upfront here. I voted for Trump in 2016. I was very left before that. And I was a registered Green Party member for many years. And I'm more conservative now. I'm what would be considered a paleo-conservative now. And I voted for Trump, and I would literally made up my mind while I was in line to vote, because I sure as hell wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton. But I was either going to vote third party or Trump. And I didn't make up my mind until I was in line, and I voted for Trump. Now, in 2008, I was born just about a month shy to be able to vote in that election. Had I been able to vote in 2008, I would have voted for Obama. 2012, I would not have voted for Obama because he pissed me off by continuing all of George W. Bush's failed policies. And right now, you have Trump continuing a long line of failed economic and financial policies that have destroyed this country. And I'm sick of these assholes on TV. I'm sick of these brain-dead libertarians. And I know a lot of libertarians. I have a lot of libertarian friends. And most of them are smart people, even though they're brain-dead. They are smart people. And they are well-intentioned. But they are incredibly naive. And the entire idea of libertarianism is the most foolish political ideology that I have ever studied or heard of. It is more foolish than communism. It is the most foolish system because it is not sustainable. You cannot have a libertarian system and keep it in place. It is set up to be conquered. And to hear libertarians I know suck the Fed's dick, that's what they're doing. They're saying, oh, we need the economy. We need the economy. The economy is more important than my grandparents, than my parents, than my aunts and uncles. Fuck that shit. There's two really good things that can come out of this corona apocalypse. Two things. That if they don't come out of this now, while we're in this, I don't think we're ever going to get them done, ever. First thing is a shift away from globalism. And I don't really need to get into that too much. I think that's pretty self-evident, all the different ways that this can get us off of globalism's teat. The second thing is fixing our fucking economy. And we're not going to fix it by going back to the old normal, which was record high stock prices caused by these fucking companies buying back their stocks and, repeating all the same bullshit that fucked up the economy a decade ago. And that fucked up the economy a decade before that. And that fucked it up a decade before that. This is a fucking cycle because they do the same fucking shit and we bail them out all the fucking time. It's bullshit. What needs to happen? This is globalism is one thing, the end of it. The second thing is fixing our fucking economy. And like I said, that's not through propping up these stupid stock prices and shit. The way we fix our economy, we turn it the fuck off and we rebuild it. Our economy, it doesn't need more flattery from the fucking stock market. What our economy needs. And this is what this virus is showing us. And we need to wake the fuck up to it. We spent decades letting these assholes sell our entire manufacturing base to China and other smaller parts of the third world. And we are paying the price for that now. Especially now, everyone wants to suck off the fucking economy. Well, you know what? The economy wouldn't be so fucked up right now if it wasn't a service-based economy. This is what happened. It used to be our parents, our grandparents, they could go to work without even a fucking high school diploma at a factory. It was a union factory. And the unions were good back then. At least they ensured that you had good fucking benefits and you were taken care of. You used to have that back in the day. And that's fucking gone. And now we have a service-centered economy. And guess what? When there's a fucking virus going around that's more fucking contagious than the fucking flu, that really fucks up your service economy, doesn't it? And that can fuck up manufacturing-based economies too. Yeah, sure. But it really fucks up your service economies. So we are in a position now. We can turn the fucking this evil financial system we have. Turn it the fuck off. Let it die. Let these shit service jobs die. They are waiting to be victims of automation anyway. Let them die. And this virus has shown that it's a matter of national security that we have a manufacturing base in America. Well, we have American companies here, but they don't make much shit here. They make them in China. Like 3M. 3M had a ship full of fucking masks that were supposed to come to the U.S., and China said, nope, we're taking them. China makes... the numbers I've seen anywhere from like 90 to 98% of all of our medicine and medical equipment. And they've threatened, their government officials have actually openly threatened to not provide us with the medical equipment and medicine that we need as a way to strong arm us during the trade war. Like, how fucking dumb do you have to be to think, oh God, we got to keep this shitty service economy alive that only serves these assholes on Wall Street. We got to keep this alive, this fucking economy that's partly to blame for where we're at right now. It's this economy that was robbed from us, and we were given this imposter shit economy over the last 4 or 5 decades. It's this economy that is the reason why we can't make fucking ventilators, why we can't make face masks, why we can't make fucking nitrile gloves, and all this other PPE that we fucking need. So, fuck your goddamn economy. Fuck it. That's my motto for 2020. Now let's get to the news. I had to get that off my fucking chest. Alright, back to the usual programming. I'm going to go over the statewide numbers. And if you want to ever look these up yourself, you can go to coronavirus.ohio.gov. They update them every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Right now, Ohio, as of 2 p.m. yesterday, the 24th, we have 564 confirmed cases. That includes 49 counties out of Ohio's 88 counties, 145 hospitalizations, and 8 deaths. And those deaths have been 2 in Cuyahoga, 1 in Erie, 2 in Franklin, 1 in Gallia, 1 in Lucas, and 1 in Stark. Now, the case numbers, at 564, you have Ashland with 1, Ashtabula with 3, Belmont with 2, Butler with 18, Carroll with 3, Champaign with 1. That surprised me when I heard that the other day. Champaign's just north of Clark County, where I'm at. That's Urbana, the main city there. That's just a small, rural county. Fuck, man, that's kind of concerning, really. Kind of like seeing that Greenland has fucking cases and fucking the Vatican City and shit, you know? So yeah, you got Champaign on the board now. Clark County has 2 cases. We did confirm our second one the other day. And it was someone tied to the person that first had it. Claremont has 5. Clinton has 1. Columbiana, never heard of that place before. They got 3. Coshocton's still at 3. Crawford's at 1. Cuyahoga, I mean, this is 167. I suspect part of that's testing. Them having the test kits. Secondly, them testing the right people. And third, I think that's fucking exploding too. I think there's probably I want to say thousands, but it's probably tens of thousands of people in Cuyahoga that have this shit and don't know it yet. Darke County has 1, Defiance has 2, Delaware has 11. Delaware's northwest of Columbus there. Erie has 1, Fairfield has 2. Franklin, they shot up. They're at 75 now. Looks like they're still second behind Cuyahoga, though. Gallia has 1. Chiaga has 5. Greene County has 3. Hamilton's shooting up there. They got 38 now. Hancock has 1. Highland has 1. Huron has 2. Knox has 1. Lake County has 11. That's a good increase. Or not good increase, but I mean that's a significant increase from where they were at last time I looked. Licking County is at 2. Logan is at 2. Lorain is at 30. Madison. Oh shit, Madison. That to the east of where I'm at now. I didn't expect them to have one either. They have 1 case now. And I work in Madison County. Mahoning has 28. Marion has 4. Medina, whatever the fuck, they have 15. Miami's got 19. Montgomery, 10. Portage, 4. Richland, 4. Sandusky, 1. Stark's getting up there. They're at 13. Summit at 36. Trumbull at 4. Tuscarawas at 3. Union at 2. Warren, 7. Washington, 1. And Wood, 2. I mean, I just spent fucking, 4 minutes doing this shit? Pretty soon here, I'm going to be going over these numbers, and it's going to be taking up a third of my whole fucking thing, if not more. Now, I want to go over some global numbers here. I think it's important to do that, because these assholes that are still in denial about this, they think it's not a big fucking deal. They need to watch this part. So I like to get my numbers from a website called COVID19info.live. It's been up for a while, since before this was really on America's radar. And if you go to their site, check it out. I mean, they lay out information so nicely. And they got fucking graphs and maps, and they have a fucking aggregate for like news feed from different countries' news websites and shit. It's a really good resource if you want to keep track of this yourself at all. But, I'm looking at this now. It's 8:26 a.m. It was last updated at 8:10 this morning. We have, globally, 435,599 cases. Of those, only 25% are recovered. And of those, 4.5% have died. That number is 19,657. So that means there's still 70% of that 435,000 that are going through this. They might end up critical. They might not have any symptoms, but they've been tested and they know that these fuckers have it. That's a fucking big number. It's 303,000. And those are just the ones that we know of. I guarantee you there are... China lied about their fucking numbers. They're still lying about them. There's billions of people with this shit. In the dormancy period with it. I mean, it's so fucking long. There was a guy, I believe he's from China. He might have been from Japan. But he tested positive and they traced back when it was that he got it. He had no symptoms for 27 days. And, there might be people that go without symptoms for even longer than that. They just can't trace back when it was that they picked up this this disease. So that's really concerning. Really concerning. And I wanted to go over the global numbers because it was just like 4 days ago that we'd hit 200,000. And these people that are downplaying this shit, they're plotting their numbers as though they're linear. This is not linear. This is, it's closer to exponential. I mean, the more cases you get at point A in time, then point B in time, you're going to get more cases. And at point C in time, you're going to get more cases from there. So, the fact that we more than doubled in known cases in just fucking like 4 days, that is terrifying. And anyone that's not taking this seriously or is downplaying it, they need to be ostracized by their friends. They need to be ostracized by their social groups. They need to be ostracized by their workmates. I mean, we don't put up with people, I don't know, spouting like flat earth shit. I mean, no one really does that, but if they did, I don't think we'd put up with it, like at work and shit. We don't put up with people coming to work and singing praises of the Ku Klux Klan or some shit, do we? No. This is deadlier than flat earth. It's deadlier than the Ku Klux Klan. So why are we fucking letting these people make the most noise? You know, if they don't want to fucking educate themselves, if they want to have their heads buried in the sand, then fine. But sand is not PPE, and they're going to fucking get it eventually. And I suspect a lot of these people that are still spouting this bullshit, come a month from now, when they have friends and family members that are getting this shit and dying from it, they might be singing a different tune. But until then, we need to collectively, anyone who's watching this, I take it that you're taking this shit seriously, and you should. And hopefully your loved ones, you've convinced them that they need to take it seriously too. But, whether it's a coworker, a random person, an acquaintance, or a loved one, if they're not taking this shit seriously, stop talking to them. Stop hanging out with them. I mean, now we can't really hang out with people anyway. Pretty much everywhere's on a fucking lockdown. The other set of numbers I want to go over are the national numbers. And these numbers I'm working with, I'm getting them from NPR, which I don't really approve of them as a news source, but I don't really approve of any, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. They all have their own agendas. Fuck them. But NPR, this is from 8:30 p.m. yesterday. These numbers that I'm getting from NPR. So, the state most hit by this right now is New York. They are at 26,374 cases, and they've had 271 deaths. Now, nationally, the U.S., we are at 54,816 cases. That's from the NPR article. Actually, look on the COVID-19info.live site. The U.S., these are more up-to-date numbers. We're actually at 55,242 confirmed cases. And we have, of those cases, 8,799 were just confirmed within the last 24 hours. We are seeing an explosion. And we're going to see a lot more explosions. But New York, they're the epicenter right now in the U.S. with 26,000 confirmed cases. And I'm sure they have plenty more than that. Up after New York is New Jersey. And New Jersey has 3,675 cases with 44 deaths. So, number one, New York, 26,000. Number two, New Jersey, 3,000. Number three is California with 2,539 cases and 51 deaths. Those are high numbers, but I mean, like, for instance, compare them to Ohio's numbers. And if you adjust for the amount of population, like, Ohio's at about 11 million people. California is like over 30 million. That proportional rate, California is only a little bit higher than Ohio. I mean, there's not, when I look at it from a proportional rate, I don't really get much comfort from that. So California is at 2,539. They are the third most infected state. The fourth most infected state is Washington, 2,469 with 124 deaths. And, if you've been following this in the news, like the national news or anything, you're hearing a lot about the cases in New York, California, and Washington. They're calling those three kind of like the main hubs. And they're kind of glancing over New Jersey for the most part. I think that has to do with, I think mentally, a lot of Americans, especially a lot of Americans that aren't from the East Coast, I think a lot of Americans lump New York and New Jersey together. And honestly, I think that's kind of fair to do because, I've been to both those places and, yeah, they're different, but, shit, fucking, a lot of northern New Jersey is just a fucking spillover from New York City. That's all that fucking is. But what I really want to point out here, so you have New York, number 1, 2, New Jersey, 3, California, 4, Washington. And this is, I've heard other pundits and shit, they bring up like, Illinois might be a new coming up epicenter, or like Louisiana or Florida. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So Illinois is 6th. Louisiana is 8th. Florida is 7th. What's 5th? What's 5th? Michigan. I haven't heard anyone fucking talking about Michigan. Michigan has 1,793 confirmed cases with 24 deaths. That concerns me because Michigan's up north. They border us. We're already seeing Cuyahoga County, the Cleveland area, most affected by this. And they're up north. They're on the other side of Ohio. They're not the northern side that, brushes up against Michigan. But, what about the people in Toledo and stuff? Shit. And so, I wanted to point that out, that Michigan is 5th nationwide in terms of cases. Exercise some caution to all my Ohio Survival News viewers in terms of maybe going to Michigan. I don't know if, maybe you live in Ohio, but maybe, you're in Toledo or something. Maybe you work in Michigan or something. Exercise caution with people that are from Michigan, that just visited Michigan. Fuck, I just realized I'm wearing my Up North, my UP shirt. I got that in August. That's when I last went up to Michigan, so I think I'm safe, but I think that needed to point it out. So. So the big news of the hour has been Governor DeWine's, lockdown or stay-at-home order. He announced that on Sunday, and it went into effect Monday, March 23rd at 11:59 p.m. And it's going to stay in effect for 2 weeks till April 6th. It's not going to be 2 weeks. They're going to extend it. I think these first 2 weeks, this is going to be lockdown light, because there's no teeth to it. And it's not really changing much of anything. This right here, and there's post-it notes on here, so I don't really care if people know where I work, but there's some people that fucking stalk my channel that fucking hate my guts. They found out where I worked. I don't think my work would even care, my channel or anything, but they would be annoyed with your fucking petty ass phone calls. So that's why I have these post-it notes here. But I got this at work, and this is dated March 23rd. Letter of exemption from Ohio Department of Health Director's stay-at-home order. So basically, this is a letter stating that I work for a company that is exempt from the stay-at-home order. Now, I work in a factory. This was the first factory job I've ever had. I work for a company that is one of the largest companies in the world. They are a conglomerate. And what we make at our facility, it's not essential. It's not. It's not essential at all. It's essential for the economy. You know, we gotta fucking make shit and sell it. But we're making stuff that's on, it's been ordered a while back. And we have one very large client, I'll just say Amazon. And I'm thinking, yeah, we have all these orders from Amazon, but I think Amazon's going to be taking a hit from this. I've heard different things. I've heard they are taking a hit. I've heard they're not. I lean on the side they're taking a hit. I think a lot of these orders we have for them, they're based on outdated models. They're based on outdated projections and shit. Now, we got a letter of exemption, and what we do is not essential. It's not essential at all. But I'm going to say there's two reasons why we got a letter of exemption. One is because we're one of the largest companies in the whole world. I think we're like top 30 or some shit, largest companies in the world. Secondly, it's a conglomerate that I work for. A conglomerate is a company, in case you don't know, and I had to look up. I had an idea what a conglomerate was, but I never bothered to look it up. I looked it up. What a conglomerate is it's a company that works in a bunch of different industries. We have them in the U.S., but usually, they have different, like, sub-companies that are owned by parent companies. So they're not as obvious to us. Conglomerates are very prominent, like in Japan. Like, think of Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi makes fucking cars. They make TVs. They make electronics. A lot of these Japanese companies, they do shit like that. Company I work for, I believe there's 5 divisions of the conglomerate based on what kind of products they make, what kind of industries they serve. And, one reason why I think we got an exemption is because we're such a large company. Second reason is because of these divisions, my company does make PPE. They make gloves, they make masks, they make respirators, all that shit. I make a lot of it. Now my facility doesn't make it. My facility makes something that's kind of like completely unrelated to PPE. But we are in the same division that all their PPE manufacturing facilities and industries are under. We're under that same umbrella. So I think that is also another reason why we have this exemption. But there's so many exemptions on DeWine's stay-at-home order. I'm on Cincinnati.com. They have a pretty decent synopsis of his order, and you can look it up. The order's available online. I might put a link in it on my description. But looking at this list of exemptions, it's huge, huge. Stores that sell groceries and medicine. Okay. Makes sense. I mean, it might be better to close them to the public, have them do like online or phone ordering and then deliveries. That might make more sense. But I get it. Stores that sell groceries and medicine, exempt. Food, beverage, agriculture production facilities, that makes sense. Lumped in with that is licensed marijuana production. Organizations that provide charitable and social services. Okay, I mean, I get that. Religious entities. So I guess that means like mosques and churches and synagogues and fucking Raelian temples and shit. So religious facilities, entities and group gatherings, weddings and funerals. I don't know who the fuck would be having a wedding now. I mean, unless you had like when I got married, it was a very small affair. I think if you're gonna have a big wedding right now, I think you're fucking nuts. Fucking cut it down to a small ceremony or just fucking reschedule it. Or get married by the state and have the ceremony later. Media. So I can go out. I'm media. First Amendment protected speech. I don't know why they have that on there. Gas stations and businesses needed for transportation. Okay, I get that. Financial and insurance institutions. Okay. Hardware and supply stores. Makes sense. Critical trade. Under critical trade, they have building and construction and other trades, including plumbers, electricians, exterminators, cleaning and janitorial staff, security staff, HVAC, painting, moving and relocation services. I know people are like getting, this exempts like fucking like Rent-A-Center type furniture places and shit. Don't get that. Mail, post, shipping, logistics, delivery, and pickup services. That's pretty. I mean, that makes sense, but the way it's put in here, it's pretty fucking broad. Educational institutions, that doesn't really make sense because they're all closed. Laundry services, like laundromats and shit. I mean, that makes sense. Restaurants for consumption off premises. Supplies to work from home. So what, like Office Max? Supplies for essential businesses and operations. Transportation, airlines, taxis, Uber, Lyft. Home-based care and services makes sense. Residential facilities and shelters. Professional services. I think a lot of these professional services, they can just do that from home. Manufacture, distribution, and supply chain for critical products and industries. This list includes pharmaceuticals, technology. That's its own thing. This is pharmaceuticals, comma, technology, comma, biotechnology. What the fuck is technology? That's so fucking broad. Healthcare, chemicals and sanitation, waste pickup, agriculture, food and beverage. So they're kind of rehashing things, we already covered here. Critical labor union functions. Hotels and motels, and they're going to be turning those into fucking hospitals here soon. And funeral services. So those are what's exempt. A lot of these kind of make sense. Other ones. So I mentioned my dog Zippy earlier. I work third shifts, and he goes to my parents. Usually, I drop him off, pick him up. Now, with this lockdown, my parents, they love my dog. I think they think that it's their dog. I would like to have my dog here with me, but they want my dog there with them. That's cool. If that's what my parents want, that's cool. He's also a pup. He's not even 2. He's got a lot of energy. And my mom, she'll take him to a doggy daycare here in Springfield. Now, they did announce that they were closing. I got an email from them. And then yesterday, I get an email talking about how they got an exemption. Now, there's all these things they're doing differently, like you have to call ahead, you have to kind of like make a reservation, you can't just drop them off. They're not having people like come into their office, or you got to call ahead, figure all that shit out over the phone. And instead of taking them in through the main door, like through the office area, you got to go straight to the back where the gate is. And they're not taking the leashes and all this shit. So, I mean, it is nice that they've made these changes, but you're going to tell me a doggy daycare is essential? And I doubt anyone from there is watching this, but, I mean, you guys are great. You ladies are great. Love you. Very nice. One of you in particular, I kind of have a crush on you, and if I go down there again, I'll make it known to you. But you know, great ladies there. I don't want to see you out of work, but it's not essential. What we're on right now, this 2 weeks, this is lockdown light. This is them telling us, like, hey, you know, get ready for this. DeWine said at his press conference, I believe it was the one he had yesterday, on Tuesday, he said that you know, he expects Ohio's, you know, kind of peak in cases to come in May, like early May. And I don't know like how he's getting that projection, but he could very well be right. In fact, I'm hoping he's right, because I think if he's wrong, then he's going to be wrong. Like we're going to see that peak come later, and it's going to be worse. So I think it's kind of like an optimistic outlook that, you know, we see the peak in May, however shitty that's going to be. So I hope he's right on that. But you know, he said that this is going to be extended. It's not going to be 2 weeks, and then I am planning, I am expecting, and I'm letting you guys know. I think he's going to come out and he's going to say, hey, we're going to extend this for another 2 weeks, or a month in total. Personally, I would like to see a lockdown of 2 months, given that you can have symptoms or you can get it and not have any symptoms for up to 27 days. And then, you know, once you are sick, a lot of people are getting sick, you know, they're sick for like 3 weeks, whether it be mild or more serious symptoms. So I think 2 months minimum would be like a safe bet. Probably wouldn't hurt to go 3 months, but 2 months would make the most sense. I don't know they're going to do that, because they want to suck the economy's dick off. So I think you know, he's going to announce that they're going to extend it to a month some point before April 6th comes around. And I think part of that too is you're going to see a lot of these exemptions get tightened. And I mean, I can pull up news article after news article. This is from WHIO. The police will not pull you over to ask where you're going under DeWine's order. And this is stating, you know, that Miami County Sheriff's deputies aren't going to be stopping people they see on the street. Piqua said they aren't going to. And you know, I've seen other local news agencies throughout Ohio report that their local police departments, sheriff's departments, aren't going to be doing this. They're not going to be enforcing this. So I expect when it gets tightened down, you're probably going to see enforcement from the police. And that's probably why I got this letter, which my bosses explicitly told us, that's in case you get pulled over. So the infrastructure is already being set up where you can and will be pulled over at some point if you're out and about during this lockdown. Now, the enforcement, there hasn't been a dedication to that enforcement, but it's coming. Now, as a related note, one thing I saw that was interesting, Whitehall, Ohio, which is part of Columbus, really. It's like a shitty part of Columbus. The mayor for the city of Whitehall has issued a proclamation for a curfew due to the stay-at-home order. Mayor Kim McGard said the curfew is between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. When leaving one's home, you will only be able to do so for the essential activities listed on the stay-at-home order. So you are seeing some local municipalities actually already giving some enforcement teeth to this lockdown, actually going a step ahead of what the governor is doing with this lockdown, and I think that's the right move. I applaud them for that. So confirmed cases at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I believe it's 3 people total right now that have been, 3 people total tested positive at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I know of someone personally that works there. He believes that he might have it. As far as I know, he hasn't been tested. He did say that the confirmed case was a guy that he worked with, and he picked it up when he was in Boston and brought it to Wright-Pat. I suspect there's more than just the 3 people at Wright-Pat currently that have it. So between Friday night and Saturday morning, this is from Xenia, Ohio, a chiropractor's office was broken into. The thieves stole hand sanitizer, toilet paper, and just other items similar to that nature. Paper towels, hand soap, loose change. I love this quote. This is from Xenia Police Sergeant Scott Beagle. Quote, very odd that someone would break into a chiropractor's office to steal paper products, hand soap, and sanitizer. Very out of the normal for us. Very unusual for us. Yeah, it's very out of the normal fucking times we're in right now. I don't know if you've been under a rock for a while or what the fuck's going on with you, dude. I'm seeing, from what my daily observance of local news, I'm seeing that there is a pretty big uptick in crime. Shootings. We had some shootings here in Springfield. That's kind of normal. I mean, like, a lot of these places in Ohio, we kind of have high crime rates. But it seems like we're getting more of them. There was a cop that was killed just outside of Cincinnati. I believe that was over the weekend. I think that was in a vehicular pursuit. Then you have this shit, people breaking into chiropractors' offices. I'm sure you're seeing other shit in this state, like, they're breaking into veterinarians' offices, whatever the fuck. I know a lady at work, someone stole her hand sanitizer. And she had that for everyone on the line there, man. Like, she was able to go out. She listened to me. She was one of the few people who worked to listen to me. She was able to go out and get hand sanitizer before it all fucking disappeared. And she was kind enough to bring it into work and keep it there so everyone on the line could use it, keep everyone safe, and some asshole fucking stole it. There's going to be a lot of this. There's going to be a lot of this crime shit. And be safe. Have good situational awareness. And know what you're going to be doing when the worst happens. Very interestingly, we have some people of prominence testing positive. We have Senator Rand Paul, Amy Klobuchar, the senator, and failed presidential candidate. Her husband has tested positive. And Prince Charles, he tested positive. So, if there's anything good to come out of this, we might see a bunch of fucking assholes that try to ruin our lives. We might see them all get sick and maybe die of it. So, Shit. All right, I'm going to end today's episode with a question from one of the viewers. If you would like to ask me a question, please do so in the comments section. You can send me an email. My email is on my channel's About Me section. If you know me personally, you can send me a text message, call me, I do have a Discord group. You can ask that in there too, which is where she did. This is from Gen G, and that's YouTube, the Discord, Geranium. Geranium asked, thoughts on this being something larger than ourselves as a pivotal moment in the way we live and health, etc. There's a lot of different ways I can answer this question, and I could spend a lot of time on it. Today's broadcast is going to be pretty long, so I'm going to just kind of do the cliff notes on this. And I believe you're asking this with a focus on personal health. I think there are going to be long-lasting generational changes from this. I think this whole event, the people that live through it, the Coronapocalypse and the economic depression that we're about to hit, I think it's going to be like our great-grandparents who survived the Great Depression in the 20s and 30s, how, you know, the changes they made to their lives during that time were changes that lasted with them for the rest of their lives. And, you know, their kids picked up on those habits to a lesser extent and carried them on as well. One great example that you can look into, and I haven't looked into it a whole lot, but I do know about it. In the Great Depression, aluminum foil, tin foil, that actually had some good value to it. There's a lot of different things you can use with that, a lot of different things you can do with it. And a lot of people that survived the Great Depression, they went the rest of their lives always conserving aluminum foil. They had something like a food item or something wrapped up in it when they ate it. They didn't throw it away like we do now. They flattened it out, folded it up, and saved it for later. And it's funny, I mentioned that to my mom, and she said, oh yeah, like, Grandpa, he did that. He survived the Great Depression. So, in terms of your question, in terms of personal health and stuff, I think immediately, you know, we're going to see people, you know, washing their hands and stuff more. I think that's going to carry over, using hand sanitizer and stuff. That's going to carry all over once this is done. My first job out of college, I did security work at a hospital, and after that I did security work at the largest homeless shelter in the state of Arizona. So I was already in the habit of using hand sanitizer and washing my hands much more frequently than your typical person. Now, I'm not on Howard Hughes levels. I'm not washing my hands until they bleed and pissing in bottles and filling them all around my house. But, you know, I definitely got me in the habit of doing it more than your average person. And also, I think I think there's going to be food shortages. I just read an article. I have to pull it up. Maybe I'll go over it on the next broadcast. But countries all over the world, they're hoarding food and food supplies right now. And I have a source who's in healthcare administration, and she runs a nursing home, and she's been doing this for decades. And she's very worried about food shortages, and she's ordering more food than they need, expecting that they're going to be short. And I think, you know, a lot of people are still in denial. They're not going to be buying into, we're going to have food shortages. But I think, I'm not a betting man, but if I were to bet, I would definitely bet on food shortages. Fuck. If anyone wants to bet me, if I know you personally and you want to bet me, I'll bet you on that. Bet you real money. But we're going to see food shortages, and I think one of the things that's going to come out of that is people will learn how to garden. I don't. That's something I need to learn. But people are going to learn how to garden, and that's going to be something they carry on the rest of their lives, when and if they survive this. And then finally, I think I'll bring up two more points. I think the social distancing, I think there's going to be a ripple effect for a long time. I think you're going to see a lot less people 10 years from now shaking hands, being more physical like that. I think it's still going to be common, but you're going to see a lot less people doing it. Finally, I would say that I think you're going to see the people that come out of this, at least the adults, maybe the people that are kids right now, they may not be doing this, but I think all the adults that come out of this, I think from here on out until they die, they will be keeping at least like a month's worth of food and essentials in their house, a little prepper stockpile. So that's what I see out of this. It is definitely larger than ourselves, and this is certainly a pivotal moment in history. And we are just we have the door just cracked open right now. We haven't even placed one foot in the doorway yet. That's where we're at with this in terms of the historical significance. So, thanks. Have a good day. Be safe.
Man, the title of my sermon tonight is The Bright Side of Coronavirus. Now, you say, well, what about the retirement and the 401k? I mean, the Dow Jones is crashing. Hey, didn't Jesus already warn you about that? Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust doth not corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
I just think there are lots of grandparents out there in this country, like me, I have 6 grandchildren, that what we all care about and what we love more than anything are those children. And I want to, live smart and see through this, but I don't want the whole country to be sacrificed. And that's what I see. I've talked to hundreds of people, Tucker, and just in the last week, and making calls all the time. And everyone says pretty much the same thing, that we can't lose our whole country.